Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Leo season, Taurus sun, moon, and rising, my Taurus folks. So I do have a video on Leo season and then the Mercury retrograde in Leo if you want to check those out. But I think the important astrology to know for this specific moment is that we're in a Mercury retrograde and it's affecting everything. And Mercury retrogrades can affect communication. They often are the rise and fall of a relationship, whether it be friendships, family, romantic, and also often contain a return of folks that maybe we have parted ways with before. So know that this is a very transitional time. Also, Saturn and Neptune are retrograde over in Aries. It's a very fiery retrograde season, and we have some really impactful stuff happening around it. And if you want to know more about that, you can check out my videos. But getting into your cards, it's going to be some work, but I think let's get into the reading. We'll suss out what I'm feeling. So, starting off, we do have a lovely Father of Wands. This season, with all of its insecurity and backtracking and shifts and changes, are about really trusting in that inner knowing, in that strength and kind of deep fire energy of passion and impetus and drive. I think this is the time to get clear about it, to also stand your ground on some ideas. Something that's been coming up a lot, and it's not surprising being Leo season, is about courage. There are some things that you have to face, and you're going to need this fire energy in order to face it, in order to step into it and say, this is what I want. I don't think it's going to be easy to say this is what you want and to believe in it, because we are in a kind of a very shifty time and it can feel like a lot of stuff is just out of reach. But that's not what we're being asked to do. We're being asked to be passionate and firm and trusting in the path of our beliefs and desires, regardless of what happens on the other side, which can be hard, but I think is a good lesson for us to learn and to sit in, especially as Tauruses, because I'm a Taurus sun, to sit in something, believing in it, not knowing what it will be, and releasing the need to know is not easy for a fixed earth sign. Then we have the Four of Wands. What do you want? What is home to you? What is security and safety? All of these cards are within the context of your own belief and reality. So when I pull up a Four of Wands, which is a lot about stability and celebrating the essence of home and belonging, what does that mean for you? Especially since we are considering the Father of Wands and us having to take a stand. Is home a transitory place? Is it the people you care about? Is it a physical place? Where does this fall for you? And a lot of Mercury retrogrades and Venus retrogrades and Mars retrogrades in their own way, which we're doing Mercury one right now, are about understanding what the self desires and what is true to us, and having to shift those beliefs based on our circumstances, and undoing, the ways in which we've been conditioned to accept certain things. So in this season, I think it's really important for you to ask, what is home to you? And how do you plan on getting it? And how is that important? And do you already have it? And what is necessary for you to believe in that? Is it financial security? Is it someone you care about? Is it having plans? Is it a specific kind of decoration? Is it an actual physical space that you get to curate for yourself? But just asking yourself. Also, maybe do a little double check on where the fourth house is in your chart to give you some insight into what home might mean to you. Ironically, my fourth house is a fire sign. And while I crave stability, it is in Sagittarius. And so it is an ever changing and moving panorama of my feelings and experiences. But I think the overarching thing that I've come to learn is that it's about safety and belonging and ease. So suss that out for yourself in this season. And part of that requires emotional processing. So we have the Mother of Cups, and it's kind of our partner to our Father of Wands. We have this really strong fire, externalized, aggressive, stand your ground energy. And now we have this kind of more internal, emotional state. that we're going to be sitting in and understanding and connecting to the season, all of your cards except for like one feel very internal, feel very much like a processing and an observation and a perception rather than the action that's going to happen in the season. One of your cards makes me think this is a tee off that we aren't quite aware of for the eclipses in Virgo season. Um, but that's not here yet. Um, but yeah, so really sitting with your feelings, and I think these three are very deeply interconnected. Really sitting with your feelings and your desires and asking yourself, are the goals that I have in alignment with what I really want? And if I did get those things today, would they make me truly fulfilled? And if not, maybe ask yourself, if those are the things you should be pursuing. Or maybe, and I think it depends on the context of what you're asking for. Maybe it's not career related, maybe it's not personal life related. So just honing in on what is important to you this season and really taking the time. No, I know a lot of us wish the astrology of 2025 was going to send us into a different timeline where we would feel like things were happening. But really taking the time to center yourself, because once we get to 2026, a lot of stuff is going to kick off for a lot of people that they have long desired. And so getting really clear on your desires, at least as an idea or a feeling, be really helpful once you get slingshotted into the future. And the reason I say slingshotted into the future is we have native wands. And this is about rapid progression and lightning strike moments and realizations. Makes me also wonder if maybe that Mercury Kazemi on the 30th isn't going to have some messages that I feel intuitively very strongly are going to lead into eclipse themes, um, which I think are then going to lead into what happens in Pisces season next year, which is right around the time things start to shift back towards the signs that planets are currently retrograding through now. So Neptune and uh, brain freeze, Mercury retrograde brain freeze, Neptune, Saturn, and Aries, and Uranus moving back into Taurus. All of those are going to be heading back towards those degrees instead of away from it, like a lot of them are now. So know that this is a continuing story. Our last few cards are interesting. They're kind of a bit of information. So we have the Four of Cups. And when I see the Four of Cups, I'm always asking, what am I missing? Or maybe, especially with all the wands in this spread, maybe I'm being apathetic. And that's what I'm missing. I'm missing that spark. I'm missing that get up and go. So finding a way to get that. I also find, specifically with this card, that is also when we're ignoring the messages of spirit, when we have been, a little voice is calling to us and we're like, no, I'm not ready for this. And maybe you're not, but you're not going to know what you're not ready for until the voice actually speaks to you and you actually communicate with this spirit or this energy, or your guides or your ancestors that are desperately trying to contact you in this moment. So take some time to sit with them. And also, when people find themselves in difficult situations, I always encourage building a relationship with ancestors and with guides, so that when you do get into these situations, you're not just hanging out to dry, especially if you don't have a great family or support system. To have these spirits and beings who specifically want to work with you can be really helpful when we feel isolated and alone. And then last but not least, Seven of Swords. We are in Mercury retrograde. Do not take everyone at face value. Check on those actions before you believe those words. And really navigate that for yourself and understand that you might have to do some translating for the various people who come across you in this time. Also, um, something that's kind of been coming up with the Chiron retrograde, which is Chiron is an asteroid, and the stuff we're going to be processing towards the end of this year, is that it's not always with the Seven of Wands that people are lying, but sometimes it's us misinterpreting them or them not knowing what they're trying to say. And so you kind of have to rely on your own instincts and your own investigative skills to understand what the intentions and the situation is around the specific person who's not being quite clear. They don't have to be diabolical, although they can be. But a lot of times I find that people often, especially when they're meeting new people or when they're in a position where they feel insecure, will project what they wish was true rather than being who they are. So just keep that in mind as you navigate humanity this season. Anyways, that is my reading. You can check out those two videos I mentioned, the Leo season video and the Mercury retrograde video. And also take some time to yourself. Know that this is an internal time. This is a time to sit with your soul for a bit. And while things will be happening around you and to you, it's more important that you get clear on your values and desires moving forward this Leo season. And things will clear and you'll get to move a little bit more direct, especially once we get into the eclipses. Anyways, my loves, I will see you in a different space and time. Blessed Leo season.